Isaiah Evans having a big day, and that all plays into my takeaway from Duke's win over the number 2 team in the country, Auburn. My takeaway is Duke beat the number 2 team in the country in Auburn, granted at home, so maybe it's different elsewhere, but they beat the number 2 team in the country, and I came away going, I still think they have a ceiling that is pretty far away from where they are right now. If they connect on some of their development moves, this could be a team that has a ceiling. Could be, right? A lot of ifs, a lot of maybes, a lot of potentials, but that ceiling is high. And, of course, it starts with Cooper Flagg. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Cooper Flagg because if you watched any of the ACC basketball last night, they were talking about Cooper Flagg. They were updating during the NC State game about Cooper Flagg. They were talking about Cooper Flagg a ton during the UNC game prior to. Like, he was kind of everywhere. And if you watch the game, he was kind of everywhere as well. 22 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. He led the team in every category. On the season, he averages leading the team in every category. But that wasn't the story to me, which is why we're moving on quick. The story was Isaiah Evans. The story was Isaiah Evans, one of the other freshmen. And I'm not even saying like other than Cooper Flagg. I'm saying other than the trio that gets all the playing time. There's Cooper Flagg, there's Kaman Malawash, there's Con Knipple, and then there's the others, right? There's Harris, there's Evans. Down 16-10 with 11 minutes left in the first half. Duke started slow, and they were grinding a comeback. It was labored. It was, every punch felt like your boxing gloves were made of cinder blocks. It was just every single play was labored. They were looking for a spark. They put in Isaiah Evans. He hit his first 3 of the game with 11 minutes left in the first half. 9 minutes into the game, roughly, he hit his first 3. He would hit 5 more before the end of the half. 6 of 8 from 3 in the first half. It was the spark that got the crowd into it at home. It was the spark that got Duke not to be so heavy-footed, and it was the spark that won him the game. I love this. This is a quick answer, but we'll play the audio for you. After the game, Isaiah Evans was he let everybody know he was not surprised by his performance.
As you know, I'm used to being a flamethrower. I'm just happy I can contribute.
That's all he needed to say.
Yep, flamethrower.
And first of all, let's go ahead and hear from Jon Scheyer, and then I will build off of his comments on how predictable Isaiah Evans was as a microwave off the bench. Here's Scheyer.
Sometimes you don't play as much as you want to or don't play, and it's a long year, and the attitude that he's had every day in practice, coming up to the coaches, not working on shooting, believe it or not. Want to work on his defense, want to work on his rebounding, understanding rotations and coverages. And, it's, I think, a great lesson for young players, but it's the combination of being pissed. He wants to play. And I want guys to be pissed and have that edge about them. And he has that at the same time of having the humility to just attack every single day. And then there's the third part of having amazing courage in this game to come in and do what he did.
I love when coaches act like there's some outside force that has a player on the bench. Sometimes you don't play as much as you want to. It's like, Coach, you're the one that was deciding not to play him. This isn't... if you're talking to your parents go, yeah, what are you going to do? It's out of your control. All you can do is be ready. The coach, it's like, well, yeah, I chose not to play him, and who knows? Sometimes you don't play. I'm not saying we expected that. I'm not saying we expected 18 out of whatever it was, 43 first half points from Isaiah Evans for Duke, but there were signs this is what was in his tool bag, that he was capable of it. On Tuesday, which is the day before the game, right? Game was played on Wednesday. On Tuesday, we introduced something called the Dean's List. And the very first person I gave a Dean's List award to was Isaiah Evans. And I actually tweeted out the notes that I had for that segment because I thought it showed, there were signs this was possible. I said, Isaiah Evans gets on the Dean's List. The number one thing was he hasn't played in big games. When they played Arizona, when they played Kentucky, when they played Kansas, he didn't get off the bench. planted, bolted to the pine. But when he got in the game against Army and Wofford and Seattle U, which was their most recent game prior to last night, he stepped off the bench with a already heated up flamethrower. What I mean by that is he stepped off the bench ready to score and did so. Double digits, 9 points, 6 points in limited action. Did not see a shot that he should take and hesitated. All you can do, and this is literally in my notes, this is exact word, all you can do is put something in the coach's mind about what you are able to do. And then at the end of that segment, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if in a big game, if they start slow, Jon Scheyer doesn't call Isaiah Evans' number. And that's exactly what he did, and he lived up to it. And he took advantage of the opportunity. And I don't think he was rewarded enough. After that first half, didn't score in the second half. Didn't get many opportunities in the second half. Didn't check in until well after the game had gotten underway in the second half. He had 18 points on 6 of 8 from 3. And I'm looking at 6 minutes into the second half, 6.5 minutes into the second half. I'm looking for him. He still hadn't even checked in yet. Con Knippel's having an off day. Seemed like a natural move for me. First dead ball, I would have gotten Isaiah Evans into the game in the second half. The only reason Isaiah Evans was on the bench, if I were the head coach, and I'm not, obviously, Jon Scheyer is, the only reason he's on the bench is if I want to yell at him to shoot more face-to-face before I tell him to go check back into the game. If somebody is 6 of 8 from 3, it's the same. I've talked about this so much. If you're shooting above 44% from 3, you're not shooting enough. I want you to just keep firing until it comes down to 44. Didn't score after the break. I know they won, so you could say the right strings were pulled, the right buttons were pushed. It could have been easier.
Possibly.
Could have been easier if you got the guy that, the basket looked like a hula hoop for and got him in the game a little bit.
He was in late. I remember coming in after the under 4-minute timeout. There's 3:55 left, and I was like, "Oh, Isaiah Evans is on the floor." Oh, okay, he hasn't played in these games yet, and he's on the floor in a tight game with under 4 minutes to play. That's pretty telling.
Yes, and he should have been. He was, for stretches, the best player on the court.
Yeah,
and he was playing with 2 preseason All-Americans. Janai Broom is legit, by the way.
Yeah, he's good.
He luckily fouled out at the end for Duke, but he's a good player, and there were stretches where Broom, Flagg, Knippel, Malawash, all these guys are out there, and the best player on the floor was Isaiah Evans. Give the kid some minutes. And I get you're gonna live and die with the guys that brought you, but we're like 7-8 games into the year. It's not being in the NCAA tournament and going, no, these guys got us here. We're gonna let them play through struggles. If a player earns their way onto the floor 7-8 games into the year, you can go, hey, he might be one of the guys that brings us. It's not all past tense yet. A lot of season in front of you. That just, again, opens up the ceiling for Duke. If Evans plays into a bigger role, now you have depth. You have other guys that can score. If he has an off day, maybe Con Knippel doesn't. If they both have off days, maybe Flagg catches fire. Now you have other options.